Digimon Story Time Stranger releases really soon, like really soon. But don't worry, there is still time to lock in a pre-order or get the Ultimate Edition of the game to get a lot of DLC and special bonuses. But I've gotten a lot of questions in my comments recently from people maybe who are only just finding out about Time Stranger because of the demo, or kind of have been curious but now really want to lock in. What pre-order bonuses do you get? What DLC is there? What editions of the game are there? And what do you get for your money? So on today's video, I'm going to explain all that. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video. And yes, we're going over all pre-orders, DLC, etc. today for Digimon Story Time Stranger. I want to put it out there on Front Street. I'm never personally a big fan of a game that has a full-priced point of access and then also, before the game is even out, announces DLC. It's not the end of the world, and I kind of get that it's something like game cost being more expensive or whatever. There's a ton of industry reasons for it, but I'm personally never a fan of it. When a game has come out and it's been out for a while, even if it's just a couple of months, and then they say, actually, we'd like to do more with the game. And then they announce DLC. I've grown to be okay with that, although I do remember the horse armor days of gaming too. So while I am discussing DLC and pre-orders, this isn't like an endorsement of it or anything like that, but of course I'm personally going to get it all because Digimon fan McGee over here. And I want to begin with pre-order bonuses. There's been a lot of questions about the Black Agumon and Black Gabumon. I will not talk about any of the data mined roster Digimon in this video, but I do think it's pertinent to address that Black Agumon and Black Gabumon and their evolutions are sort of not in the base game of Digimon Story Time Stranger. So they are going to be DLC, just pre-order based DLC rather than paid DLC, which means just by getting them, you will bring the roster total above 451. In addition to this, I've seen some people saying, oh, I wanted to start with my Black Agumon, I wanted to start with my Black Gabumon. They would not release a demo that lets you carry over your save progress if that was a thing. As far as I'm aware, there is going to come to a point, probably in the in-between theater, when you can then collect your DLC and pre-order Digimon, just like with the NX Digimon in Cyber Sleuth. I will dive into exactly how you can get Black Agumon and Black Gabumon, although there are some things that are still up in the air. However, I do also want to say that it is likely next year or something, or the year after, that in a complete edition, these Digimon will be added to the game without having to pre-order. And indeed, if we look at Digimon Survive, which had a pre-order Guilmon, that is now just purchasable DLC on things like Steam. So one way or the other, eventually you're going to be able to get Black Agumon and Black Gabumon. Now, the only thing that we don't really know, and that's a little hard to call because of how many countries this game is releasing in, is exactly how physical pre-orders of Digimon Story Time Stranger will include Black Agumon and Black Gabumon. I would personally, rather than trying to give outdated or incorrect information, encourage you to contact the retailer that you have pre-ordered with for clarification. Now, let's talk about editions and aka DLC. There are both physical and digital editions of Digimon Story Time Stranger. The digital editions come in Standard, Deluxe, and Ultimate, and if you buy or pre-order any of these three editions, you will also get the Agumon Black and Gabumon Black. There are, however, also retail editions, the Ultimate Retail Edition and the Collector's Edition, and I'll get to those in a little bit. But looking at the digital editions, which you can get right now on Steam, Xbox, PS5, get them pre-ordered ready for pre-download, hopefully when the game launches on October 2nd or 3rd, depending on your territory. So Standard Edition is just the base game. That's all you're getting. Obviously, there'll be things in the game like costumes and stuff, and again, because it's a pre-order bonus, you will get Black Agumon, Black Gabumon, the adventure item set, and the uniform of certain school. And I will explain what those are in a minute, but I do actually quite like that these pre-order bonuses don't require you spending any more, and it's not just the Black variant Rookie Digimon that you get. So looking at that pre-order bonus pack, you do actually get quite a lot in there. You get the trainable Digimon, Agumon Black and Gabumon Black. As I said, that costume uniform of a certain school, with a school uniform based on the one that Inori and others in Time Stranger have for Dan and Kanan, and the adventure item set, which includes 3 medical spray DXs, 3 multi-recovery DXs, 3 full revival sprays, 1 attacker attachment 1, and 1 guarder attachment 1. So it's a big boosting set to set you off on your adventure. This is nice for a pre-order bonus. I know pre-order culture is very contentious these days, but I'm personally always pre-ordering when I get digital editions of things, just so I can have the game installed ready for launch the second the game is out. So I may as well get some bonuses for doing that. And as far as I'm aware, you can pre-order this right up to like the day or maybe the day before of this game coming out. So if you're still undecided and you're watching this video, you definitely still have time. Then going into the digital deluxe edition, you get some extra bonuses. This is going to be $99.99 in the US and around $84.99 in the UK. Other territories, go on your storefronts and find out. And that deluxe edition comes with Cyber Sleuth costumes for Dan and Kanan, but also Inori and Aegyeomon. So you get to be the Ibers, Inori becomes Yuki, and Aegyeomon becomes Yugo. But the real kicker, of course, is the 3 DLC packs, with 5 additional Digimon times 3 and additional episodes times 3, with a bonus farm item, the Golden Moai, and that is part of the Season Pass, which you will be able to buy separately but is included off the rip with the deluxe edition. I will explain more about what exactly is in that Season Pass in a little bit. Then moving forward, we have the Ultimate Edition, and this is the Ultimate Digital Edition as a reminder. That is going to be $119.99 USD or $104.99 GBP. And that includes everything we've already talked about, but in addition to that, you will also get an easy unlock route or an early unlock route to Agumon Bond of Bravery and Gabumon Bond of Friendship. Now, this is different to the Black Agumon and Black Gabumon situation. You can not spend an extra cent, just get the base game and unlock the Kizuna evolutions in Time Stranger. However, the Ultimate Edition of the game gives it you early, makes it easier to get. So those evolutions are not locked behind the Ultimate Edition, they're just easier to get if you have it. Then it includes a bunch of costumes, and these are the costume swimwear sets, which gives everyone, including Inori and Aegyeomon, swimsuits to wear. I think Dan's looks really cool. Then we have got the costume Chosen Children set, which gives Dan a Tai outfit, Kanan a Kari outfit, their siblings, Aegyeomon a TK outfit, and Inori a Mimi outfit. And then matching that is the costume Digimon costume set, where you get basically hoodies, kugurumis, whatever you want to call them, based on the partners of the same Chosen Children from the Chosen Children set. So Dan gets an Agumon outfit, Kanan gets a Gatomon outfit, Inori Palmon, and Aegyeomon Patamon. Plus, of course, the deluxe edition Cyber Sleuth costumes too. Everything that is in a previous edition, if you bump up, is included in the higher tier. But what's also specifically included in the Digital Ultimate Edition is a Cyber Sleuth background music pack. I will talk more about additional background music later in the video, but suffice to say, yeah, it means that you can listen to Cyber Sleuth music during your game if you're a big fan of that soundtrack. And the costumes don't end there, because as part of the Digital Ultimate Edition, you also get the Costume Public Safety Suit and Special Supplies set. And again, that's in addition to everything else from pre-orders and other edition tiers. So you get these public safety suits for Dan and Kanan, which resemble the public safety officers from the game, and you get a Strategist's USB, a Millionaire's USB, a Collector's USB, they're all going to help with Digimon growth, of course, a Chic Toilet for your Digifarm, which is the raising, changing personality segment of the game, which you can access through the in-between theater, and a side mission. To do the job, you need to dress the part, because yes, that's something I haven't touched on yet. All of the costume packs also add a side mission. Cyber Sleuth gets the side mission in the palm of an unknown hand. The swimwear pack gets a beach episode with the side mission proper beach attire. The Chosen Children set gets the targeted cosplayer side mission, and the Digimon costume set gets the side mission Knowledge is the Death of Fear. So it does appear that we're cosplaying as the Digimon Adventure cast. There is an NPC in the start of the game who remarks on the anime that we see based on our adventures that are about to happen in the digital world, reminding him of an anime from when he was a kid. So there's a potential that a version, or indeed just Digimon Adventure, is an anime in the world of Digimon Story Time Stranger. That would be weird. Now, yes, there are also physical pre-orders of this game. The Ultimate Retail Edition and the Collector's Edition. Unfortunately, right now, it does appear that on most storefronts, the Ultimate Edition and the Collector's Edition are out of stock, with mainly just the Bandai Namco website being the stockist for the Collector's Edition. However, there are resellers, of course, where you can pay a lot more if you're really determined, but it also seems quite likely that on launch, the Collector's Edition will restock again on the Bandai Namco website. Plus, there are Japanese versions with slightly different things included, like an art book, which you might be able to pick up on places like Play Asia, but again, it depends on how much you care about these things. As far as in-game content goes, you get absolutely nothing different when you buy the physical pre-orders. There's no special physical DLC or anything like that. The Ultimate Retail Edition matches the Digital Ultimate Edition, but you do get the Aegyeomon collection collectible card. Again, this is likely out of stock, but do check places like Amazon. For the UK, I would say places like Game, etc., and the Bandai Namco website if you really want this. And then there is the collector's edition, which again includes all of the digital Ultimate content, but in addition to that, the art book, which I talked about earlier, I think the Japanese version has the art print of the Olympus 12 with Aegiromon reaching out to Inori, that's what I meant earlier, and rather than one exclusive card, you get 4. Grace Novamon, Lunamon, Coronamon, and Aegiromon. No duh, Grace Novamon's going to be in the game. And the most awesome part of this is 15 centimeters of Jupitermon Wrath Mode. Again, I'm really sorry to tease you with this. If you didn't get a pre-order, it's unlikely you'll be able to pre-order it before the game comes out now, so you're probably best to be looking at the digital editions of this game, but it is not impossible that the collector's edition becomes available on launch from the Bandai Namco website, and again, of course, resellers are going to resell. In addition to all of this, they haven't disclosed what the farm item Golden Moai does, but you get that with the deluxe and the ultimate edition, and my suspicion is that given that personality is such an important part of evolution in Time Stranger, if your Digimon has a, say, reckless personality, but it needs to have a philanthropic personality, it can be quite difficult to change that, and it's very key to unlocking Digivolutions, so I do wonder whether the Golden Moai item lets you completely change one or a bunch of Digimon's personality without having to go through a bunch of hoops, but it could be something different. Now, like I say, you are also going to be able to purchase the season pass separately, so if you only care about the DLC after you've played the game, you can get the season pass probably at any point, but without that pre-order content. Why would you want the season pass though? Well, let's discuss this a little further. Of course, you will get side missions associated with them, but as I briefly touched on, each wave of the season pass, which has been confirmed to be distributed up to the end of September 2026, meaning that we've got about a year of content for Digimon Story Time Stranger. We may even get a season 2. Bandai Namco is no stranger to season 2s with things like Tekken 8, so this might not be the end of content for Digimon Story Time Stranger, but all that means is that all of this DLC content will be distributed by the end of September 2026. Looking at that then, because we have 3 packs, that probably means a DLC every 4 months for the game. So the game's launching October. I would say the first DLC wave might come out in January, then maybe like May for the 3rd wave, and then the final wave in August, September 2026. And yes, those additional Digimon and episode packs do feature an addition of Digivolution routes for Mega Digimon times 5. That means that 5 Mega Digimon are going to be added for each episode, meaning a total of 15 new Mega Digimon. There has been some suspicion that that might also include, because they say the word route to Mega, other Digimon besides the Mega. However, if we look at this text and if we look at the actual picture, it says 5 additional Digimon times 3. It doesn't say 5 additional Digivolution routes. So I do think we're just looking at 5 new Mega Digimon per episode, not a full Digivolution line of Rookie through to Mega, unfortunately, but I'd love to be proven wrong. Obviously, there are a ton of contenders here. As I said, the roster has been data mined, and there's even been some data mining apparently of Digimon moves that were cut from the game, but I'm not going to be discussing those here. I will discuss that when the game is actually out, and I will make maybe a predictions video or a likelihood video on what Digimon might be included in those DLC packs. But in addition to 5 Digimon per DLC pack, there is also going to be an additional episode in each of those packs, meaning that yes, there will be story content, and theoretically that story content is probably tied to the Mega Digimon included in the DLC. So for example, it seems quite likely, based on something I'm going to talk about in a minute, that with Digimon Beat Break coming out 3 days after Digimon Story Time Stranger, by the time the first DLC wave comes out in, say, January, Beat Break will still be ongoing, and we might have seen some Mega Evolutions by then, meaning that the first DLC pack could be a Beat Break pack, and a Beat Break themed storyline. You know, Geckomon showing up in the world of Iliad and going on a crazy adventure with our protagonist. Though it's also equally likely, if these are Mega Digimon, that we're getting Digimon from other anime seasons that we haven't seen, maybe a Ghost Game pack, maybe a Liberator pack or something like that, if you want something from the webcomic side of things. Really hard to say right now until the full game comes out and we have an idea of where the land lies. I've also seen a lot of people assuming or asking when they're going to reveal the DLC Digimon for the game, as if it's going to happen before launch or even the day of launch. I think that's actually very unlikely. The best way to get eyes on your DLC is to treat it like a secondary promotional phase for your game, so I don't think they're going to reveal the DLC Digimon before the base game comes out. I think they're going to use that that as marketing. So if the first wave does come out in January, that's when they'll start announcing, you know, like November, December, they'll start revealing stuff for the DLC. In addition to that though, Digimon Games tweeted that Digimon Anime Song Pack with a total of 16 songs, including theme songs from anime, will be available at a main game launch date. And as I covered in my video the other day, these are indeed an opening track and a insert song from Digimon Adventure, Digimon Adventure 02, Tamers, Frontier, Data Squad, Cross Wars Season 1, Digimon Adventure 2020, and Ghost Game. Sadly, nothing for Appmon or Cross Wars Season 3, or indeed any of the Digimon movies or any of the dub tracks. This is almost certainly going to be paid content, and the way it works is once you've bought it, you'll be able to replace select music themes, so like the field music, or the battle music, or the Digivice music, with music from the anime. However, given that would leave us with Appmon, which, you know, probably isn't going to get a ton of love, Cross Wars Season 3, and now Beat Break coming out, it's not impossible that we get a second anime song pack for the game if the first one sells well. In addition to this, another type of DLC which hopefully is free, unlike that music which is probably paid, are the collaboration t-shirts. So far, as of time of this video going out, we've got confirmation of collaboration t-shirts featuring Tales of Arise, Taiko no Tatsujin, Pac-Man, Idolmaster, and Tekken 8. However, there's probably going to be others with Bandai Namco properties. Maybe we'll actually see some of the Digimon crossovers like Monster Hunter and Godzilla get t-shirts in the game too. I would not expect these shirts to cost money. If they do, that is a baffling decision, but I didn't think that the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour would cost money either, and here we are. Either way, they are technically DLC whether they're free or not, so I wanted to talk about them. So yeah, that is everything you need to know about the DLC for Digimon Story Time Stranger if you missed the boat, and indeed your pre-order bonuses. There may be more things that come out when this video goes out, and indeed, like I say, in future there may be a season 2. Personally, I'm just going for what I'm buying, the Digital Ultimate Edition. There's a small chance that something nice from Bandai Namco shows up in the mail, but I'm not taking that risk just in case. And obviously, because it's my job, I am going to stream every bit of that DLC, so if you're on the fence, you can always watch me playing the game. We'll be streaming the game the day it comes out, and then when DLC and stuff comes out, streaming it too. But yeah, hopefully that's caught you up and you're all excited for Digimon Story Time Stranger. Thank you to my sovereigns. There are 3 of you now: ZDK14, Chaotic Prophet, and Jeremy Babineau, as well as everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/Karn EX. And thank you to my YouTube channel members here on YouTube who clicked the join button down below. You guys are the best. I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.